What's up guys, Jonny May coming at you with a quick tip, and today I want to talk about blues piano. And you know guys, when I hear a lot of students play the blues, they just play the blues shuffle like this, okay? And the blues shuffle is a totally fine way of playing the blues, but there's a lot more you can do with the left hand. And today I want to show you what I call the 7 pillars of blues piano. And whenever I sit down to play blues, I play one of these 7 different styles. And if you listen to blues pianists like Dr. John, Ray Charles, or even James Booker, you're usually going to hear one of these 7 different styles. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, what I'd like to do is start with a lead sheet, and we're going to use a very common tune called St. Louis Blues. It's one of the most common blues tunes written in the 1800s by W.C. Handy, and we're going to use this tune basically over all of the different styles. So let's go over this first, and this is a C blues, so play this here, C, E, G, B flat's our first chord. We go to an F7, and then C7. Okay, pretty simple. All right, next chord, F7. All right, final phrase is a G7 chord. Goes like that, then we go to an F7, and then a C7, and then a G7. Okay. Now we have the lesson sheet music up here on the top left of your screen. This is downloadable and printable at pianowithjohnny.com. I'll put a link to that below. And you can also change the key with our smart sheet music. So you could do this in any one of the 12 keys, which is really, really nice. But guys, let's go ahead and dive into these styles. The first one that I want to talk about is the blues shuffle. And I mentioned this at the beginning. It's a great beginner approach to the blues. And the shuffle basically goes like this. This has a nice kind of medium blues feel, and the basic idea behind this is I'm grabbing an open 5th to an open 6th on each of my chords, okay? And then you do this on all of your chords, like F7 would go. See what I'm doing? Okay? And there's lots of ways you can play your shuffle, okay? For example, a more advanced way would go like this. Where I'm using these rolls in my right hand. If you guys want to learn a bunch of different shuffle patterns, check out our Rockin' Blues Basslines course at pianowithjohnny.com. I'll put a link to that below, but we have the beginner intermediate course, intermediate advanced course, where you learn a whole bunch of blues shuffle patterns, which are a ton of fun. Let's move on to the style number 2. I want to talk about this. This is called the Burlesque Blues style. This is a ton of fun if you want a big sound when you're doing the blues. This is how this one goes. It's a really, really fun sound. It has the ga-jump, ga-jump. And the basic idea behind this is now I'm going root to chord, okay, like my C7 like this, to 5th to chord, and all you do is you play 8th notes on this, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And you do this on all the chords, and 1, and 2, and 3. And you get a really nice big sound. Once again, we have the sheet music here. We go through the full 12-bar blues. This is available at pianowithjohnny.com for download and print. You can put in all 12 keys. I also want to mention we have a course on Burlesque Blues. It's called Footsie Woman, and in this course we do a super deep dive of the Burlesque Blues sound, talking about not only the left hand and the right hand, but what to add, what sort of fills can we add, and how do you solo over this style. But this is one of my favorite styles to play. I actually learned that style from my teacher who played at Disneyland. His name's Johnny Hodges. He was amazing. Let's go to style number 3. This is the Fouronthefloor sound. Check this one out. Okay, I love this four on the floor sound because you get a chord on every beat. And so it has this kind of driving sort of sound, or this quarter note pulse, which is where we get the term four on the floor. They're quarter notes, which are 4 beats per measure. And there's a lot of ways you could play a four on the floor. We actually have a whole course on four on the floor where I show you a bunch of different ways. But this is one of my favorite ways to do this, where you break the chord up like this. And basically it's a C7 chord, but I'm taking the root, the 7th and the 3rd, and I'm breaking it up like this, okay? And you do this on all your chords, okay? F would be like that, your G would be like that, okay? And then you anticipate the chord, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. So you put the chord, the top, on the beat. It's a super fun style. We have the lesson sheet music notated for the full 12-bar blues. So once again, if you read sheet music, you can learn from this. But like I say, go to the full-length course. I'll put a link to that below where you can learn this in detail. The next style I love to play is called the slow blues. And I'll show you what this one sounds like with this melody. Okay, love the slow blues sound. This is a lot like the four on the floor. It's kind of a mixture of that and the burlesque blues sound, where we use tenths, okay? Basically on the C, we grab that E on the top, and then we go to a simple chord, C7, and then we go back to our 10th. Okay, and that is my sort of slow blues formula if I want to take a song and do it as a slow blues. Like if I were doing Georgia on my mind, Georgia. Okay, it works on a lot of different tunes. So that's my slow blues formula. You want to do this on all your chords. Okay, and guys, we have a whole course on this at Piano with Jonny. It's called Bernie's Blues, and it is the slow blues style, so we walk you through that. But again, this is kind of a summary of that. I want to talk about style number 5. This is super fun. This is called Jazzy Blues, and this is if you want some more interesting chords. This is what this would sound like with the melody. Has a lot more interesting chords, and this is kind of where jazz and blues come together in my mind, where you've got the 12-bar blues form, but you've got a lot more interesting chords. And so this is a bass line. We actually teach this bass line in our rock and blues bass lines course, and actually a number of other courses. But basically the idea here is it's a walking bass. We're kind of emulating an upright bass. I've got these super cool rootless voicings in my right hand. Again, you learn this inside that course. We talk actually a lot about rootless voicings at Piano with Jonny. But you can use this style with this melody. Super cool. We've got some interesting chord progressions here. We had a 2-5-1 to the F7 chord on beat or measure 5. We do an extended turnaround here, getting to the 2 chord, basically an elongated 2-5-1 back to C, and then we have our standard turnaround progression at the end. So kind of just a quick summary of this, but it's a really nice bass line. It's super fun to play in this style. Guys, style number 6, I call this Boogie Blues, and this is kind of where boogie woogie and blues come together. Check out what this sounds like. Okay, it's a very cool kind of a lazy boogie sound. Whenever I play boogie slow, it kind of feels like a blues to me. So this is really fun. The basic idea behind this is I'm playing octaves, basically targeting the next chord. So if I want to go from like C to F, You do, you know, octave C, B flat, G, G flat. This is called an upper neighbor, and it gets you to the F chord. And then from here you can walk it up, you know, A, and then go chromatically into the C. Okay? And so the cool thing with these boogie octaves is you can move in between chord tones using upper neighbors and lower neighbors. I talk a lot about this in our walking bass lines course at Piano with Jonny, and you can use this for any bass line. So we do this over the 12-bar blues. It's a ton of fun. All right, style number 7 is what I call funk blues. And if you listen to guys like Herbie Hancock and tunes like Watermelon Man or Cantaloupe Island, this is going to be that straight blues sound, or what I call funk blues. Let me show you what this sounds like on St. Louis Blues. Okay. It also kind of has kind of a Dr. John sort of a New Orleans feel to it. It's a lot of fun to play. The basic idea behind this is we're using straight eighth notes. We're not swinging our eighth notes. And what we're doing now with the chord is we're doing this little funk pattern, okay? And we're breaking up the C7 chord, okay? Root, 5th, 7th root. Okay. And you do this on all the chords, F. It's a ton of fun, and you do it on the G7 chord. All right, guys, this concludes this week's quick tip, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this, I want to encourage you to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 23 courses in blues and our blues learning tracks for beginner, intermediate, and advanced pianists, where we teach you everything you need to know about the blues, from walking bass lines, chords, how to improvise. We talk about all of the genres that we studied today in this quick tip, but we go into a lot more detail. Also, check out the Piano with Jonny membership. This gives you unlimited access to over 600 step-by-step lessons in jazz, blues, boogie woogie, pop, rock, theory, technique. Basically, it is the full learning platform for all playing levels. We also do live monthly events. We do a live Q&A where you can ask me your practice questions. We do live workshop lesson where you can ask me questions during the lesson. We do student assessments where you can send me a video and I'll give you feedback on your playing. We do weekly challenges for our members. And we have an amazing piano community. So go check out pianowithjonny.com, and I'll see you guys in the next quick tip.